highly favored one of the Lord. I appreciate you joining me on the Healing Streams Reflection. The title for today's post is Your God to Save? Is your God to save? How well do you know God? Does your perception of His character match His self-revelation in Scripture? The atheist Voltaire cynically noted, if God created us in His own image, we have more than reciprocated. Is it possible we have somehow reinvented God as a safe deity with whom we can comfortably coexist? Have we repackaged Him as a beck and call being whom we ask for a parking space at the mall, but then relegate to a back seat while we go about running our own life? In his book, Your God is to Save, Mark Buchanan warns that trusting a safe God maroons us in a place he calls borderland, a kind of spiritual demilitarized zone between the sacred and the secular. The name derives from a neutral district separating two African countries, a no man's land without laws, but familiar and predictable nonetheless. In the metaphorical borderland, many believers set up shop and live in comfortable self-reliance, but fail to grasp they are spiritually sleepwalking. Beloved, it's very, very important to understand that in Christianity, old hearts and mind habits persist as if you and I had merely covered with a carcass with new dressing. Yet not every Christian is stalled. We all know vibrant believers, many who face such arduous situations and that we are baffled by their zeal, vitality, life. What makes the difference? Buchanan finds a clue in Luke chapter 24, verse 13 to 35. Not realizing their companion is Jesus, two downcast disciples in his description, slow of heart. Later, after recognizing him, they asked, were not our hearts burning within us? We too combine slowness of heart and spiritual heartburn, experiencing sorrow and hope, all in self-pity, tugging us one way, jostling us another. Perhaps that's because the God of Scripture is wooing, tender, forgiving, slow to anger, abounding in love, but at the same time fierce, exacting, demanding, a consuming fire, as Hebrews 12:29 tells us. When asked how the Abba, Romans 8:15, aspect of God correspond to this portrayal, Buchanan replied that C.S. Lewis perfectly captured the balance in characterizing Asian, the lion, the witch, and the wardrobe. The lion is the wild king, dangerous and powerful, but in whose presence you feel utterly at rest. God is like that. He's a father both tender and fierce, whose embrace protects and consoles precisely because of its warrior strength. It is this real God whose presence infuses the holy world, that region of danger and wonder and beauty beyond the lukewarmness of borderland. Yet preferring comfort and familiarity with believers keep trying to live with a God who insists but nice, save, who hands his life smooth and tidy in his thorough, says Buchanan. Reconciling the unfairness of life with the goodness of God is challenging. But God's definition of life going well is unique, distinct, almost eccentric. It's about God accepting us as his own, the ones he loves, he writes. The solution is to have faith in the one who doesn't always remedy life unfairness, but who does for better, he redeems. There are no shortcuts or escalators to the holy world to replace one pattern for borderland dwelling. Buchanan describes that we develop holy habits, spiritual discipline that allow us to be drawn into intimacy with Christ and ultimately to imitate of him. Like learning to play the violin, this unique time and practice to become natural and beautiful, but the effort is invaluable. Among these disciplines are practicing the presence. Our tendency to drift can make God seem distant. Having a Godward attitude all day, praying without ceasing, reminds us that he is near. To study. Since scripture can be seen boring, puzzling, or scary, we prefer it sweetened, pre-digested, then delivered from the pulpit. However, we should consume the word ourselves, even parts with a strong flavor. Servanthood. The attitude should be our goal rather than its byproduct, service. It is the best way to love as Jesus loved, and it's just plain attractive. All holy habits won't totally prevent drifting back to borderland. Buchanan says his experience is that they reduce the down times and heighten the cup times. His book that he wrote, The Holy World, Trusting God in Everything, assesses the connection between rest and trust. He declared, if I don't trust someone, I won't rest in his presence, he explained. So my lack of rest is primary. It's a logical problem, a failure to truly place confidence in God's character. One last surprise of the holy world, rejoicing is a discipline. Scripture commands it. Philippians 4:4, 1 Thessalonians 5:16. And for this reason, joy is serious business. Christ set joy before himself as he faced the cross. Hebrews 12:2. And we too can cast our gaze upon little glimpses of heaven. As Buchanan concludes, it's so easy to grow weary in our spiritual lives, but God extends his hand, inviting us to join him in adventure. Dare to take hold and watch life become a celebration. Thanks for hearing, and may the good Lord richly bless you.